we're here with Dr. Colby Stobbs, and Colby just went out and bought his first home using our real estate strategies. So the bottom line is you were able to buy, how much was the house worth? The value of the house.
He was asking $360,000. We got it at $320,000.
Okay.
It was worth more than $360,000.
Okay, so let's say $320,000.
Yeah.
And you only put $20,000 down, right?
Yeah.
Less than 10%. And so you have a $300,000 plus asset for $20,000, and you have now. Why is this important? Well, you took $20,000 and created $300,000 out of it. Number one. Number two, you did it without a bank loan, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that's what we teach. Is we teach how to buy real estate without bank loans. And the reason that's so important is bank loans. You're limited to 4 loans. There's a lot of reasons why, but you're limited to 4 in today's economy. You're limited to 4 investment properties, and then it switches to commercial rates. And what that means is you have to put 30% down. So you would be limited very shortly. In other words, if you bought that $300,000+ house and you had to put down $30,000, you would have had to come up with a little over $90,000 to buy that using a bank loan. Do you see how important it is to understand owner financing?
Yep.
And to bypass the banks?
That's the only way I could have done it.
That's right. Now, not only that, but it also helps if you have bad credit. Now, I'm not going to say if you do or don't have bad credit, but you could have bought that house without any credit or bad credit, right? Because he didn't check your credit, did he?
He did check my credit.
Oh, did he? Okay. So he did, which is unusual. A lot of times, so you don't even have a credit check typically. Did he check your financial ratios?
Nope. The only thing he checked was my credit.
See, so this is another thing that a lot of times chiropractors have bad financial ratios that mortgage companies require to be able to buy a certain amount of home. So you're not stuck with bad credit. You're not stuck with financial ratios. You're not stuck with large down payments. And this is why it is so important to understand how to buy real estate, amongst many other factors. But the big factors in addition to that is leverage. So in this case, we took $20,000 and leveraged it into $320,000. And you would not have bought that house if it would not cash flow, right? You've already know how to do the financial analysis of a rental home to make sure it cash flows, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Stobbs learned that. So essentially, after he buys it, somebody else is paying for his asset. So there's positive cash flow. So there's leverage is number one. So he took $20,000 and made $320,000. Then he has the equity. Every month, people that are his renters are paying into, I call it a mini retirement account is what I call rental homes. So every month he's got somebody else paying into his retirement account. Then he's got appreciation, that home, because you've learned to buy good quality real estate, didn't you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have bought that unless it was a good quality real estate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we call that high demand real estate. Otherwise you don't buy it. So that's appreciation, so we know it's a good area, high demand real estate, so that's good appreciation. And then you have depreciation, so that house was $300 and you bought it for $320?
$320.
Okay, so divide that over 27 and a half years, you're gonna have what, 5, 6, 7, 7,000, I mean, you're gonna have $7,000, $8,000 a year in depreciation and taxes. You're gonna, in other words, that's $7,000, $8,000 a year. You take $320,000, divide it over 27 and a half years, and that's what the government under United States laws gives you for depreciation. And what that means is that's the amount of money that you don't have to pay taxes on. So let's say it's $8,000 that year. That's $8,000 that you would not have had to pay taxes on as a chiropractor. Now, it's way more than $8,000, remember, because it's not only $8,000, but you would have to pay taxes on $8,000. So if you had to, and you're going to be in a 50% tax bracket after federal, city, state. After you add up all your taxes, you're going to be in a 50% tax bracket. So that $8,000 really would have been $12,000 to have $4,000 to pay taxes, to spend $8,000, and then you'd have to have $24,000. So Colby would have had to have made $24,000 at 50% overhead to have $12,000 to have $4,000 of that go to taxes, to have $8,000 to spend. So the power of just that one category is $24,000 in wages that you don't have to make now. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's depreciation, and then there's the cash flow. And the way we teach it, it's a positive cash flow situation, and that's a positive cash flow. But we don't even do it for the cash, right?
No.
I mean, because we're practicing chiropractors, so that cash either goes back into the property to pay it off more, or it goes to buy other properties, because we don't even need the cash. And if you did use it, the next one is it would be capital gains. So that money would be taxed at capital gains rate, not at earned income rate. And that's the power of the wealth strategy of real estate. So in this particular case, there was no bank loan, it was good property, it's called demand real estate. So there's three things that we did that you learned. You learned how to pick the location of a property that's desirable, and you knew all those categories, right? You learned that. Number two is you learned how to evaluate the structure of the property, right? And then you learned how to evaluate the financial package to make it work, right?
Yep.
So you did all three, and then you learned the marketing part of it, right?
Yep.
And okay, so we pick up the house, you put $20,000 down, he picks up a $320,000 cash flowing home. So he essentially just increased his net worth $320,000 from $20,000. That's called leverage of money, good leverage of time and money. And this is why over 70% of the millionaires become millionaires in real estate. So in addition to that, you not only knew location, structure, and financial package, you also didn't have a bank loan. You weren't limited by a bank loan. You would have maybe even not have gotten, would you think you would have even gotten a bank loan?
I don't know. I mean,
You know, because they don't just give them out,
yeah.
right? They don't just give out bank loans for, rental properties left and right.
I probably wouldn't have enough down to
Right,
qualify
for a bank loan.
with my student loans.
Yeah. And that's the debt income ratio, right? And that's the big problem is the debt income ratio with chiropractors, especially when you add in that student loan factor. That becomes a very limiting factor to buy real estate. So we've how many problems did we overcome? A lot.
Yeah.
We overcame all of them, didn't we?
Mhm.
Okay, and that's not the knowledge of real estate. So you basically do the marketing, you get the negotiate with the homeowner, $20,000 down, owner financing, make sure the finances create cash flow. You did that, right? And you close on that here in the next few days, right?
Yeah. And it's like 8 days after we
Yeah. And how did that feel to be able to do that? You're only what? How old are you?
33.
33. So you've bought your first residential property. How did that make you feel to be able to do that?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something there. It's going to be there forever. It's awesome.
Yeah. And how does it feel about creating security for yourself and your family?
Once the deal goes through, I mean, it'll be great. I don't see any
Right.
hiccups coming through. It's been smooth sailing so
Right.
far. So
Right.
Yeah.
And then how easy, after you did the first one, how much easier is it you think it is from here forward?
Yeah, and it was extremely easy compared to what I thought it was. It
Right.
was
And
more mental
would you have been
block.
able to do any of that without going to my real estate for chiropractors course?
No.
Right. And that's what we do. And that's how I retired at age 33. It was a practice, brought on associate doctors, and invested in real estate. And that's exactly what Dr. Staubs is doing. So, very good. Let's go into the details of it now.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with the marketing. So you evaluated your demand real estate, right? So you picked your neighborhoods.
Yeah, like 3 neighborhoods. in
Okay.
mind. Yep.
And then you picked the specific type of home,
Yep.
the structure, right?
Yep. 3-2.
Okay. And square footage, and
Yep.
what was high rent probability, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew what the high probability of rent you would need to get to for it to cash flow, pay all the bills, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start marketing, and the marketing you did is essentially you just called for sale by owners,
Yep.
right? Just
That's
called
all
for
we did.
sale. So you called the for sale by owner, and you went through the flow sheet that we give you a little bit, right?
Kinda. I had my mom do it.
Right.
And then she called and she gave me the hot leads, and I
Okay. So
Oh,
basically,
but
she
yes.
just called the person, see if it was for sale.
and read your script.
Oh, and she read the script.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. pretty good. And she didn't even take the seminar, did she?
Nope.
Okay. So she had a hot lead then, right?
Yep.
So she hands it to you.
Yep.
Okay. And by the way, it's not just something your mom can do. This is an employee can do, a
Anybody.
wife can do. I mean, it's anybody can do this. And let's just say this: your wife's not trained in real estate, is she?
No.
Or not your wife, your
Or my mom, no.
Your mom. Yeah. Okay. So okay. She's not a realtor, nothing like that.
No.
You just said call these numbers and read this script, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you get it. So you make the phone call, right?
Yeah.
And I take it you go through the script and clean it up, right?
Yes.
And nail down
Yep,
everything,
that's
right?
exactly what happened.
Okay. So you go through and nail down, and then at the end of that phone call, so he was asking for 360 at the beginning of the phone call.
360 at the beginning of the phone call.
Okay. So when you finished with him, you got him down to 320.
330.
330. So one phone call, you got $30,000 off.
Yep.
And that's what we teach. That's part of our script, how that works. And so you get $30,000 off. And so you see it's a motivated seller, you got owner financing, you got the discounts, everything's lining up based on the parameters of the checklist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just followed the checklist, right?
That's all I did.
Okay. And then you go over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just follow the checklist of what to do when you're in front of the homeowner, right?
Yep.
Okay. So did you walk through and look at any repairs?
We went through a lot of them. He had some, there was a couple things on there, but he had a structural report there, and there was, some little incidental things.
So you did go,
Yep.
you did go through repairs with him?
Each room individually.
Okay, like we taught?
Yep.
Okay. And you got him to acknowledge what repairs needed to be done and with rough estimates?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go through that, and then you go through the offers?
The offers.
After you go through the repairs, so you know the cost of the house, you know the value of the house. You'd looked up the value of the house,
yeah,
right? You did the
yes,
comparables, looked at the county line, see what it appraised for and all
Yeah.
that. So you know what it's really valued at, so you're not just winging it.
Yep.
So a little bit of knowledge there. And then, so after you do the repairs, then when you go over the repairs, what do you do with them next?
We just sat down. I mean, everything fit at that point.
And you made him an offer.
Yeah. Well, I negotiated a little bit more and brought it down another 10,000.
Okay, how'd you do that?
We talked about a little bit about repairs and just said, hey, this is
Okay.
kind of where we're at, and
So you again, it's following the script.
Yeah,
You,
and
you followed in line with everything.
Yep.
Got him to admit to everything.
yep.
Yeah.
He took another $10,000 off. and then-
Okay. Takes you down to 320.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got 30,000 on the phone call, another 10,000 sitting in front of
One
them.
person. Yeah.
So $40,000, not bad, right?
Yep.
So then you make the offer, right?
Yep.
Okay. And did he bite at it right away?
He was a little hesitant on owner financing at the beginning, and I mean, he needed
Which is normal,
some
right?
money, yeah.
And we talk about that. We talk about they do need some money, but they typically don't need the whole amount, right?
Yep. That was the thing that took the most skill.
Right.
Was figuring out what he needed.
What he needed,
Yeah.
exactly right. And were you able to point out the benefits to him of owner financing?
He had a little knowledge about it because he was like a broker or something
Okay.
in his past. So, but he was hesitant, and then after we sat down and talked, and he's like, "Yeah, I would like to."
Because remember, all the benefits for him is he doesn't get taxed all at once.
Yep.
He gets a steady paycheck, and if you're older, that's very important to have a steady paycheck. And you can give him a better interest rate than he would be able to get if he took all that money and put it in a CD, right?
Yep.
And was he aware of that?
I think he was.
Did
I
you
mean,
cover
we
it?
didn't even have to
So
go
you
that
didn't
far.
even you didn't go that far.
No.
Okay. So you had all these benefits, and you didn't even go into all the benefits.
I didn't have to.
Didn't have to. And it really got down to finding the good property, structure and location and all that, but then finding the motivated seller.
Yeah, that was.
That's the key. Once you have a motivated seller, your skill level, the amount of your skill level can go down significantly. Did you see that?
Yeah, I thought anybody could have did it.
Right, which is true. And I mean, you just have to know how. You got to know the checklist and what to do. But that's one of the keys that we talk about is how to find motivated sellers and how to talk to them. So in the one meeting, did he agree to everything in one meeting, or did you have several meetings to come to this agreement?
We kind of came to the decision, or the first day.
Right.
The first time I went over there.
You write
we
it down
shook
on a
hands.
legal pad.
We shook hands. I came back on the weekend with my checkbook.
Right.
And we sat down and wrote it out on a legal pad.
Right.
Like a little mini contract, and
Right.
it was done.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see how it's pretty easy probably to pick up 2 homes a year, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I got done with your seminar and I was excited. So I think we picked that up within 30 days of the seminar.
The seminar, yeah. Okay. All right, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, I mean, the motivated seller is the number one thing.
Yeah. And remember, how many homes do you need? Well, for a passive income of, and I say this all the time, if you want a passive income of, say, $50,000 just to pay for your expenses, how much money would you have had to have made? You'd had to have made like $8 million. At 50% overhead to have $4 million, at 50% in taxes to have $2 million, at a 2 to 3% interest rate to make roughly $50,000. I mean, you'd have to make like $6-8 million depending on what the interest rate is now. The interest rate now are very low. CDs are 1 and 2%. The average return right now is 2-3%. So it's a very competitive, and it's good for buyers. That's very good for buyers. That's an advantage for buyers. So you go through all the motions. So for you to have $50,000, now how many homes would you need to have? Well, if you're averaging $1,000 per home, and let's say it's paid off, because it gets paid off relatively quickly, and we talk about how to accelerate payments and all that stuff. So we teach how to get these homes paid for in 7 years, 10 years, something like that. And so if you have one home giving you $1,000, you'd only need 4 homes to give you roughly $50,000 a year. 4 homes. So what would be easier? 4 homes, and let's say it was $20,000 per home, so that's 2, 4, 6, 80. So it only cost you $80,000. Would only cost you $80,000 with 4 homes to make $50,000 a year versus try to make $6 to $8 million a year.
Yep.
How long was that going to take?
I mean, never.
It's never going to happen. That's why 97% of the doctors can't retire on the same lifestyle, because it's not real. This is real, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're so excited. As soon as we close, we're going to start looking for the next one.
Right. Yeah. All right. Good job. That was real good. That was the way that's exactly how it's done.
Yep.